In the description box below this video is a link where you can download my Excel spreadsheet with my cheat sheet for Week 7 of college football from October 8th through Saturday, October 11th, 2025. My cheat sheet has all 56 games, 112 teams. I calculate the point spreads of all 56 games using 3 different authoritative sources: ESPN's Football Power Index, Bill Connelly's SP Plus, and TeamRankings Power Ratings. Go to the description box below this video, click the link, and it will take you to my Google Drive where you can download the Excel spreadsheet. Go to File, Download, Microsoft Excel. You can also download the spreadsheet as an open Office document. If you download the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, you will have the full features of the spreadsheet, and you can make changes to the spreadsheet. You cannot make changes to the online version. So let's go to the Excel spreadsheet. So this is an overview of the spreadsheet. In this video, we're going to focus on the left side of the spreadsheet, which has my PowerPoint calculations using 3 different methods for all the college football games of Week 7, and the differences between those point spreads that were calculated versus the Vegas point spread. The right side I included for your further analysis information that I presented in a video that I posted yesterday. So if you go to my channel, look for the video called Week 7 Trends. And this video has a link where you can download a spreadsheet which has all the college football teams, even the ones that are having a bye week, and it has their data. Now that information was also included in the spreadsheet that I'm going to show you today. Also on the channel is a video tutorial on how you can calculate the point spread. It goes step by step. There's also a spreadsheet where the spreadsheet will calculate the point spreads for you. So this is the same calculations that I did in this video. That was published 5 days ago. So now let's zoom in on the spreadsheet for this week, which is the cheat sheet. The cheat sheet has the 56 games and does not include the teams that are having a bye week. So again, we're going to focus on the left side of the spreadsheet, so we will zoom in. I'm going to show you an important feature of this spreadsheet in that the top row is frozen or fixed, meaning that you can scroll down and it will maintain the headings for you. Also, it is fixed left to right so that the teams of interest are always going to be on your left side. And as you can see, you can scroll all the way to the right. This is all the information from the video that I posted yesterday, that mega trend spreadsheet. But this video, I'm going to focus on my point spread calculations and how they compare to Vegas, and then we'll sort them together and see where there's some major differences. So what I put in, let's zoom in even closer. So this is today's date. That's the date that I created the spreadsheet. In the first column, I put whether the team is the home team or the road team. Also, I number the games. For example, the first 2 entries are Game 1. The road team is Missouri State and the home team is Middle Tennessee. Now the system that I use is this. The road team is always on top and the home team is always on bottom and they're paired together. This numbering system is based on VegasInsider.com's scoreboard, VegasInsider.com. And I'll provide the links to all the websites I discuss in the description box below this video. So what I did was I extracted these teams and the point spreads from VegasInsider.com. For example, here it says now, that's the current point spread of now, Missouri State's -3. I extracted that. And then this is the first game. The second game's Liberty, UTEP. The third game's Louisiana Tech and Kennesaw State. So that you can go to the VegasInsider.com page, just go down the page, and those games will be in the same sequence as the spreadsheet. So first game, road home. Second game, road home. This column is important because later on, you can always go back to this column, click this triangle here, and you can sort A to Z, and what they'll do is it'll restore the sequence. I'll show you again, which leads me to these little triangles that you will see in the bottom right corner of all these boxes. It allows you to sort the contents of that column. For example, looking at the teams here, let's say we want to sort alphabetically. Sort, so you click the arrow, click A to Z, it'll sort it alphabetically. As you can see, Air Force is number 1. Okay. Now if you say, okay, no, I want to reset it, I want to go back to how it was, go back to the first column, sort A to Z, and it'll take you back to the original thing. You're going to do that several times because you're going to sort and go back. Okay. So the second column is the college football teams. Now, let me zoom out again. So again, we're looking at the left side of the spreadsheet, and I color-coded some pink dividers. What that does is it lets your eye see easily where the point spreads are. So every time you see a pink divider, that tells you that right next to it is going to be a point spread. So the first one is the Vegas point spread. The next one is the point spread calculating using ESPN's Football Power Index. The next point spread is Bill Connelly's point spread, and TeamRankings is the next pink one. So just look for the pink bars. So let's zoom back in again. And remember, when you scroll right and left, the columns on the left will stay fixed. All right. So football teams, and now we have the Vegas point spread. These are the actual Vegas point spreads that I got from VegasInsider.com. So I wrote actual. So what we have here is game 1, Middle Tennessee's at home. They're an underdog, plus 1.5. So the weaker team is the underdog, plus 1.5. Missouri State is the favorite. They're minus. Whenever you see a minus point spread, they're the favorite. Missouri State, minus 1.5, which means Missouri State needs to win by 2 or more points to cover the point spread. And then in that case, Missouri State will have 1 against the spread, ATS, against the point spread. So that's Vegas, and that's going to be our reference point. So next, the next grouping here is the source is ESPN.com. We have the pink divider, and just to the right, this is the column of the calculated point spreads from ESPN.com. Let me show you the source here. So if you go to ESPN, you go to rankings, you can see Football Power Index, FPI. You click it, it'll take you to their page. And as you see here, FPI is listed. The way to interpret is this: Ohio State, FPI is 24.9. If they were to play Georgia on a neutral field, that's 24.9 minus 20.9. That's a difference of 4 points. Ohio State's 4 points better, and therefore the better team is favorite, minus point spread. Ohio State minus 4 on a neutral field. If Ohio State's playing at home, 3 points home field advantage. So then that's actually minus 4 plus 3. So it's minus 7. So on a neutral field, Ohio State would have to win by over 4 points. At home, Ohio State would have to win by over 7 points. So that's the power rating. And so again, if you go to this video here and here, I go into a deeper discussion as to the meaning of these power ratings. But basically, they're used to calculate the point spreads. And then ESPN basically even says it on their website that the FPI is designed to calculate point spreads. It says Vegas, setting lines, similar to the FPI. So extracting those numbers, okay, I actually list them here in the section here On the right side, I include the Football Power Index, and these numbers are from ESPN, this column here. Then I calculated the point spread using those power ratings as I described the method in this video, how to calculate point spreads. And then I list them here. Cool. So as we see here, a lot of the numbers are similar to each other. If they're within a field goal, then I would say, hey, it's pretty much the same, right? So we see here, Middle Tennessee, Vegas point spread is plus 1.5. The FPI calculated point spread is plus 2.4. Missouri State, let's do Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech, Vegas says minus 6. ESPN's FPI says minus 7.8. So the interesting number is, what's the difference? The difference between the calculated point spread using ESPN's Football Power Index FPI versus Vegas. I calculate that number and I put it here. So I also put here green is good. Okay, so I only boldface the differences that are three or more points. So if it's a field goal or more of a difference, then I'm more interested. If the difference is greater than 7, then you got to take a close look. So again, this is the column of interest. Green is good. So you click this triangle here, and you're going to sort largest to smallest. And this gives you the teams where the point spread is the most off to that team's advantage. So let me give an example here. UNLV Rebels, Vegas says they're minus 6, okay? And if you scroll to the right, I actually put their opponent here. So right before the gray, blue, gray, the gray and the blue dividers is the opponent. So Vegas says their UNLV is favored by minus 6.5 points. ESPN's FPI calculated point spread is their minus 14.6. So the way to interpret is this. Vegas says UNLV will win by 6.5 points or more. So let's say by a touchdown. ESPN says, no, we think that they're going to win by 14.6 points. We think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns. So that means, let's say UNLV, you bet UNLV $10. And the outcome came out just the way ESPN predicted using FPI. And they won by 2 touchdowns. You would cover and win that bet. And you would win that bet by 8.1 points. So you would have an 8.1 point cushion. So that's why it's an advantage. In this case, again, I listed in green. The ones in green are the ones that are a field goal or more. But we can see here that 3 of these teams here, UNLV, Temple, and Coastal Carolina, have a discrepancy of around a touchdown. Now, if you scroll down, I also put in red on the other side. So red is bad. So you wouldn't bet on that team. You would bet against the team. So cool. We did the FPI. Now we want to reset the table. Go back to the first column. Click this arrow here. And then sort A to Z. And then that resets the table. We're going to move over and we're going to look at the second grouping, Bill Connelly's power ratings. So again, this is on ESPN site. You can calculate the numbers yourself. The way to do it is you go to Rankings and SP Plus. And every Sunday or Monday, Bill Connelly publishes these numbers. So this week, this is dated October 5th, and here's his numbers. Who is Bill Connelly? He's been doing sports analytics for many years. ESPN hired him in 2019. Part of the reason why, because he came up with some advanced analytics. Him and his friends came up with around 2008 or before. They developed a lot of data analytics approaches to college football and football that were not present before. So Bill Connelly posts his numbers, and then here we have ratings, and these are the power ratings. Here, Oregon is 30.8. If they played Oklahoma, 25.8. They're 3 points better on a neutral field. Oregon would be minus 3. And he also puts the ratings for offense, defense, special teams. If you put all these together, that gives you the overall rating. But I use this number, these numbers here. I go into more detail in, again, my Week 7 Mega Trends, the Trends one that was posted yesterday. All right, so now that's Bill Connelly. Let's look at his numbers. So these are the power ratings from the ESPN website. This is the calculated point spreads, right? And then, again, here's the differences. I'm curious about the differences, so click this arrow, and I'm going to do sort largest to smallest. And we see here, let's look at the teams that we have 5 teams that have an advantage of 7 points or higher, the maximum being 10.6. Toledo, 10.6. North Texas, 8.5. San Diego State, 8.3. Missouri State, 7.4. Jacksonville State, Gamecocks. So, and there's several here. There's actually a decent amount with 5 points or higher difference. And then if you go to the bottom, these are teams that are in the opposite direction you would go against. So you're going to focus on green and larger. So starting from this. Now, how would you use this information? Like, okay, well, this is interesting. The data is just part of the analysis, but you have to do some human intelligence is involved too. So in the case of Bill Connelly, we know him as a smart guy in this field, and he calculated these numbers. There's no system that's perfect, but it does, based on his numbers, he's saying, hey, these games are worth a closer look, at which you then, I mean, if you can find highlights. If you want to really go into the analysis, you can find highlights on YouTube's of the previous games. You check injuries. You look at their past games. How much did they cover the point spread? What was their margin of victory? If they cover the point spread, by how much? What was the quality of the opponent? Then you can deep down look at the offense versus defense, look at quarterback play, and look at injuries. You put that all together, but what you're trying to do is you're looking for advantage. Is there an advantage? If you can stack multiple advantages, that gives you a higher priority. There's no sure thing. Each time I think it's so what you're trying to do is just trying to get an advantage, but then over the long run, those advantages accumulate. So you might have a streak. You said, okay, I used this advantage. I think I might have a 10%. By probability, I might have a 10% advantage. By the way, Vegas, the main advantage that they have is they charge like a brokerage fee, a juice of 5%. So that already puts them ahead. So even if if Vegas only wins half of the time, they're still going to come out to 5%, and that's their long-term strategy. So you're always about stacking advantage. So if you can say, hey, you know what? I think there's a 60 to 70% probability that this is going to occur, then fine, do that. Don't overbet, just do controlled amounts, and then over the long run, by probability, it should play out. So okay, so that's Bill Connelly. Now let's flip back here, reset, sort A to Z. Now what we're going to do is the final group, which is team rankings. And again, I just want to let you know that, again, before you see the blue and gray dividers, you're going to have the opponent. So when you sort, if you scroll to the right, you will see the other team. Okay. So now let's go to team rankings. So in team rankings, who are these guys? Their website's amazing. Started by 2 Stanford grads in the year 2000, 25 years ago. And so they publish their predictive ratings, and they even describe their power ratings. Same idea. You take their ratings, okay, and then, for example, here, Alabama is 28.8, Notre Dame is 26.8, 2 points difference. On a neutral field, Alabama is -2. Same idea. So using these numbers, extracting it, putting them into this column here, then I calculate the point spread using the method described in the video I posted 5 days ago. And then I compared these numbers to the Vegas numbers. So let's sort these. Largest to smallest. Remember, green is good. So let's look at this here. Okay. 6. Let's look at the ones that are 6. So Alabama advantage 6 points. Coastal Carolina, 6 points. Then you got Nebraska, Army, Louisiana Tech, and Indiana. And basically LSU around 5 points advantage. And then you got in the fours, Temple, Utah, BYU, and Ole Miss. Okay, now let's reset first column. So everything's reset. Now, on the right side of this is I kept all the data from the video I posted yesterday. This has the Football Power Index information, rankings, efficiency, just way more stats. So let's say you like UCLA. So now if you're saying I like UCLA, I save you time by compiling all relevant information from ESPN, team rankings, and they have them all here. Efficiencies, offensive efficiencies, defensive efficiencies, strength of schedule, offense, defense, special team breakdowns. So it has even more information. Win-loss record, win percentage, margin of victory, and their record against the spread. For example, UCLA, against the spread, they covered 2 times, did not cover 3 times, 0 pushes. And ATS plus minus is on average how much that team covered the point spread per game. So I'm kind of curious. Let's look at this. Largest to smallest. We see here Old Dominion on average has covered the point spread 16 points per game. And against the spread, they've covered 4 times. Let's zoom in a little bit more. So Old Dominion's covered the spread 4 times, did not cover 1 time, which means if you bet in Vegas, they would have covered the point spread 4 times, you would have lost 1 bet. Louisiana Tech has covered 5 times, so if you bet Louisiana, you would have won all 5 times, five games. So Old Dominion, okay, on average, they've covered their point spread 16.4. Louisiana Tech has covered the point spread 15.4. So this is also useful information too. So all this information is on this spreadsheet. Thus, the massive nature of it. Okay, and again, as a background, it's important to, if you want to get more details, the channel has, yesterday's video has a detailed description of all that stuff on the right side. 5 days ago, I posted a video on how to calculate the point spread. And then also, I plan on posting additional videos about college football, NFL football, MLB baseball, NHL hockey, and I'm coming up with ways to create cheat sheets for college basketball. College basketball is way more difficult. There's so much teams, there's so much data, and they don't play. Football plays once a week. They play multiple times a week, so I have to figure out how to handle that data. But I'm planning on doing that too, and some NBA. Also do videos about artificial intelligence and how-to videos on computer technology. So check those out on my channel.